for that lovely weather report, Jim. You New Englanders beware of this upcoming snowstorm and stay safe. And in other news, today is June 8th, 2045. Do you know what that means? It is the 200th anniversary of Andrew Jackson's death.
For those viewers who don't know, Jackson was our 7th president, elected way back in 1828. He was the leader of the Jacksonian Democratic Party and left behind one of the most powerful legacies of any president of our time.
And a very positive one too, Charlotte. He saved many of the Native Americans' lives, believe it or not. We prefer to be politically correct here at Fox News. They were saved from the almost sure death they would have suffered under our 9th president, Mr. William Henry Harrison. We now go to Alex Clark on location in Tennessee with the story.
Thanks, Alex. Yes, I am here in Tennessee, the birthplace of Andy Jackson, our 7th U.S. president. He was elected in 1828 during his 2nd attempt, and he served 2 terms in office. Before coming to the high office of U.S. president, he was a war hero, and he saved New Orleans in the War of 1812. Once in office, he did away with the Second Bank of the United States, an institution that was being dishonest to the people. He also stood up for the Union when South Carolina wished to do away with the tariff of 1828, deeming it unconstitutional. He showed nationalism and support when it came to the majority of the states. Jackson also set the precedent for presidents using the spoil system, where he cut 1/5 of jobs of the opposing party when he came into office. This set the bar for party loyalty and linked it to office holding.
That's right, Alex. And that move to take control of the government in order to get things done really influenced the power of the president in the years following his time in office, all the way up until today. He also helped shape our country in other ways too, right, Alex?
That's right, Charlotte. His last great achievement as president resided in the Indian Removal Act. He saved the Native Americans, ironically, by removing them from their homeland. William Henry Harrison took office 1 term later. He led the Battle of Tippecanoe, which was the great slaughter of Native Americans who opposed James Monroe. Had Jackson not removed the Indians from their territory, they would have been killed under Harrison.
So although they didn't know it at the time, Jackson was really helping the Native Americans by getting them out of harm's way. That's fascinating. It sounds like he was a very important figure of the history of the United States, and a very positive one at that. Andrew Jackson made a precedent for future leaders by showcasing his authority. He was not afraid to use all possible presidential rights and resources in order to get a task done. Jackson disagreed with other founding fathers and believed that presidents should do everything in their hands to meet the needs of the people. He took advantage of representing the nation and used it to benefit the country in ways that previous presidents had never taken the risk to do. He used his presidential powers to the fullest extent.
He did. An example of this would be his veto of the Maysville Road Bill, a bill that required immense federal funding in order to purchase local lands. This bill would have interfered with the paying off of national debt and would have resulted in economic turmoil. Jackson also concluded that this bill was unconstitutional because government shouldn't be allowed to control a state's land. Even though many people supported the bill and wanted Jackson to pass it, he was not swayed. He vetoed this bill and many others for the common good of the people.
He had a good handle on the balance of power between individual states and the federal government, and he wasn't afraid to oppose the public on that balance.
All right, Alex, it seems that this program is coming to an end. But in conclusion, Jackson firmly stood with his beliefs. He made an example of being chief executive, and that a president should use all necessary powers and resources possible in order to achieve a beneficiary goal for the people. Although his death was 200 years ago, we are still celebrating his wonderful presidential legacy and his commitment to the people.
And that concludes tonight's special of the 200th anniversary of Andrew Jackson's death. Have a great night, everyone.
So although
wait. Okay, go.
All right,
go
Alex.
ahead. Go.
Okay, all right, Alex. It seems that this program is coming to an end. Oh no, but in conclusion.
And that concludes tonight's special of Andrew Jackson's 200th year anniversary death.
He was a war hero. He saved New Orleans in the Battle of New Orleans. Once he was in office, Jackson also set the precedent for president to be able to cut jobs for others from the opposing party and linked party loyalty to the presidential office. He wasn't afraid to oppose the public on that balance.